This one's really interesting. I don't know how to pronounce it. Veeqo is a multi-channel shipping software that Amazon's coming out with. I don't even know the background on this. My guess is they basically bought out a shipping fulfillment software and kind of rolled it in, or they just developed it from scratch. I don't know if you heard that, but this is basically a software within Amazon that's going to help with multi-channel shipping. Break that down. Where do you think this could be helpful for sellers?
Yeah, so this is something I believe Amazon did buy the company. They realized a lot of Amazon sellers like us, we use these third-party apps like ShipStation, right, that go through the API on Amazon. And so they're smart and they understand, again, this is a need that sellers have. And so they said, hey, well, look, let's just develop a great app similar to ShipStation that we own that hopefully has some proprietary, programming in it that's going to make the system a little easier. And let's just offer this free to our sellers. So right now, I think it's ShipStation. We pay $150 to $200 a month. So that's going to be about $150 to $200 a month savings by using this third party that Amazon owns instead of using ShipStation. But the big key to this is they have an inventory system. So one of the frustrations we have with ShipStation, it's just not great at tracking our inventory. But this new VQO is going to have an inventory system that looks like it's going to be very robust. And again, it's all for the low cost of free. So you can't beat that.
I'm not to be cynical, but I'm trying to think the angle that Amazon, would provide a free tool like this. And one, positive spin to it would be just to help sellers be better at selling and sell more. But I'm also wondering, so if we attach now our Shopify to this, our Walmart and eBay, Amazon now basically is, seeing data from all these platforms. And now they're data is kind of king in our economy. A lot of people say that data is like the new gold. And so it'll be interesting, I guess, if they can get every seller to use this, they would then get even more data on all these other platforms. How much is this seller selling on Shopify or Walmart or eBay? So that might be part of it. Maybe it's not, but I'm guessing they have a play there. All right, this one I think is really relevant to everyone. And going back to the beginning of the conversation, Andy, where you said most sellers feel like Amazon isn't always in our corner. I think one of the biggest areas of that is account health, suspensions, kind of Amazon changing things quickly. And so they have this new feature they're calling the account health assurance that I think is really interesting. Break that down for us. What is that going to be like for sellers?
Yeah, so for those of you that are listening, if you've never gone through it or you don't know anyone that's gone through it, you can be selling on Amazon and doing a ton of revenue every month. And all of a sudden, a bot flags something in your account and Amazon shuts your account down. And, so you go from selling $30,000 a day to zero and actually being locked out of your account, right? While Amazon goes through this. It can be an extremely painful process. So Amazon, again, has listened to sellers, and sellers have said, hey, look, this isn't fair. There's so many algorithms and so many bots out there that, will make mistakes. So Amazon has said, hey, look, give us an emergency number that's on file. As long as your account maintains a certain health rating, which, for you and I, like we never have an issue with that. Our health rating is always good. As long as your account maintains a good enough health rating and you have that emergency number on file, then they're saying that they will never shut your account down if you answer that phone when an issue arrives. So that is huge for us as sellers. Again, there are times where we average $40,000 to $50,000 a day in sales. We much rather answer a phone call from someone at Amazon, when a bot flags something potentially to help work through that issue than Amazon shutting down our account, because you can never get those sales back. So this is a huge, huge step forward. It almost received a standing ovation from the audience when they announced this one. It was like a sigh of relief. Because again, as you grow in your Amazon sales, it just becomes critical that you never want to experience an account shutdown like that.
Yeah, we need to make sure the phone number on our account is is the right one. It might be mine, and I'm not always the best about picking up my phone. So we need to make sure that the right person is on that and that we're not getting surprised. Now, here's one interesting thing on our main account that we sell. It's the way that it's always looked, but we have another Amazon account for another brand that we started, and it has, I think, what's already going to be, for whatever reason, they rolled out this new feature to this account, and so maybe some people listening have this already. I don't know, but on this account, it showed an actual number of the account health score, and it was out of 1,000. So on our main account, it just says healthy. It's like red, yellow, or green. And whenever you're in the red, it was always like, the yellow, it was like scary, you're at risk. And I don't think we were ever in the red before, but I'm sure that's not a good sign. Oh, well, now there's this number system. And so it's kind of like the IPI score that they rolled out a few years ago, where you can now see the score of your inventory health. I feel like it'll be very similar to that. And, it might be similar to the IPI score, where sometimes it's like going down and you have no reason why it's going down. But hopefully it kind of stays in that really towards 1,000, and you won't be at risk of a sudden unexpected shutdown like you just went through. Yeah, so that's probably one of the best potential feature roll outs that they've talked about. The last thing that we just kind of picked out here was the Amazon warehousing and distribution. And so I think this is good news for especially anyone in private label or getting into private label that doesn't have their own warehousing space, and they've always kind of worried about that just logistical step of trying to figure out where you're going to store inventory. 3PLs can be expensive, and all of that. So break down for us where you think this could be valuable for sellers.
Yeah, so I think there's another just wise step for Amazon. They realize that a lot of Amazon sellers use 3PLs. A lot of them use 3PLs just for storage. And so this is not a FBA fulfillment center. So this would just be long-term storage that Amazon would then send these products to an FBA fulfillment center. And so you're going to have lower storage fees, basically lower long-term storage fees. What it does for Amazon too is they don't want their FBA fulfillment centers to be full, of product that's not selling. They want those FBA fulfillment centers to be lean and mean. And so for their perspective, I'm guessing that they're hoping this is going to free up space in their FBA centers. And then the second piece of that is, during the pandemic, they went on this massive building boom. And so I imagine that they have a ton of square footage that's empty right now. So again, it's genius on their part to say, hey, look, let's take some of the square footage that we have that we thought we were going to utilize, but we're not, and let's just turn it into long-term storage for Amazon sellers so we can make a little bit of money on the space that we're not currently using. So smart on Amazon's part, but also for sellers, it's going to drastically reduce those long-term storage fees, and you're going to be able to use the stage, right? Product, send it into FBA.
And my guess would be a warehouse like this would take a lot less employees and automation to operate. It's kind of like a more simplified warehouse. So for Amazon, it should be easy, less capital investment for them to kind of set this up. I'm thinking out loud here, just some of the, features of this that could be valuable, like recalling Amazon inventory instead of sending it back to yourself. If you could send it to one of these long-term storage, if you had to recall 500 units, I could see that as valuable because it should be no problem for Amazon to communicate between these places and receive it. That's one benefit I could see of a place like this. Another one would be Amazon looking at your inventory sell-through rate and recommending pretty easily, saying like, hey, you have this inventory at our warehouse distribution site. You should send it in at this date, and them actually helping to coordinate like all the logistics of it. So you basically just have to click a couple buttons and it happens. You don't even have to set up like a true shipment. That's something I could see valuable, because Amazon should basically have giant truckloads every single day going from these warehouses to Amazon. So you would think that you wouldn't even need to use like UPS or FedEx. You would essentially use something similar to like an LTL or full truckload from the warehouse to Amazon. So I don't know if that's what it's going to be like, but I could see this again being some cost savings for us personally. We see a lot of logistic and shipping improvements for our brand over the next year or two from opportunities we've identified. Steve's helped us identify. So we think we're going to save a lot of money next year through that. So anybody listening, I think there's always room for you to look at your current processes. We've talked a lot before. It might just be that you could actually operate out of a smaller warehouse than you think you need to, or you might want to look at LTL or full truckloads instead of just shipping the way you currently do. So that's going to be big for us. And this might be one way to help sellers be a little bit more agile and navigate further.